Hi there, I'm Coley. This is Sweet Peaches Nutrition, and today we're making one of my favorite sweet treats, banana bread muffins. You can also make this recipe in a loaf, but I just find that the muffins are really great for a grab and go snack. So, this recipe does take a little bit of planning because you need some seriously ripe bananas, but besides that, it's super easy and it makes a great treat and you're eating fruit, right? So, coming at you today with a two-part recipe because you can either make these the traditional way with butter and egg, or I've got some replacer options so that you can make this vegan or just dairy free or egg free, however your heart desires, because banana bread muffins should be for everyone. And don't forget the chocolate chips because honestly, that's what makes them so tasty. So let's go to the kitchen. Okay, so first you're going to peel your very ripe bananas. As you can see, these bananas are pretty black, probably nothing you would want to pick up and snack on, but they're perfect for banana bread because the riper the bananas get, the sweeter they get, and they also get a lot softer, so they're easy to mash. You know, if your banana has an obvious brown spot on it that looks like it might be kind of gross, you can get rid of that, but for the most part, you want them to be really smooshy. And so first I'm going to start by mashing them with a fork. You could probably just put it straight into the mixer, but I like to make sure that they're a uniform mash before I start adding my other ingredients so that you don't get a big clump of banana. I want them to be nice and well mixed. So I start with a fork. And once I feel like I've got a pretty good mash going on, then I'm going to put my bowl on the mixer and start adding in my other ingredients. And so first we're going to talk about how to make these traditionally with butter and egg. And so I will begin by adding in 2 whole eggs. I dump those into the mixer. And then I'm also going to add 1/4 cup of melted butter. You can just melt it, it doesn't have to be softened, and it'll work just fine. I'm also going to add 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and those specks you saw in there were some vanilla. That's optional, but vanilla is always good in baked goods, in my opinion. And then I'm just going to go ahead and mix until it is well combined. And then it is time for our flour. We're going to use 2 cups of flour, and then I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda and just go ahead and stir to combine. I also want to add in a teaspoon of salt to this. And then once you have your dry ingredients, you're going to go ahead and slowly add those to the mixer. This part can get a little messy. I'm sure there's a better technique, but I just kind of make sure my bowl is lined up to go in and slowly dump it in. You don't have to do this in parts or anything. This dough is super hard to mess up. It's pretty forgiving, so I just add in my dry ingredients and mix until it is combined. Sometimes flour gets stuck on the head of the paddle or on the sides of the bowl, so if you see some flour that's not getting incorporated, you can go ahead and scrape that in, scrape down your sides, and make sure that it all gets incorporated. You're just looking for a uniform batter. This will differ slightly because, bananas differ in size, and how many super ripe bananas you have might affect your yield a little bit, but it doesn't really affect the proportions of the other ingredients too much, so you should be good to go. And again, I'm just scraping down the sides and making sure I got all that flour incorporated, and it's time for the most important part, chocolate chips. I use about 1/2 cup here, and that seems to evenly distribute through the dough pretty well, but, you don't have to be super precise on that measurement, or if you notice you have a little bit more batter and you need a little bit more chocolate chips, it's not gonna hurt. So once those are folded in, then it's time to put them into muffin tins. So I'm using one of these ice cream scoops. It's kind of handy because it has that little piece that will push the dough out of it. But if you don't have that, you can totally use a spoon or a measuring cup or whatever works best for you. Also here I have a silicone baking pan, which is pretty cool. When they're done, I can just pop the muffins right out and they get a nice even browning all around them. But again, if that's not the tool that you have, then you can either do a good greasing of the bottom of your regular pan, or you can use the paper liners. I just found over time that the paper liners were kind of starting to stick, so I switched to here, and you're just going to bake that at 325 for about 30 minutes, and look at those beautiful golden muffins. Okay, so now let's talk about how we can veganize this. You're going to swap the butter for 1/4 cup of melted coconut oil. Again, you're using the same maple syrup and vanilla bean paste if you want. And this is our egg replacer. So you're going to make a chia egg, which is just 2 tablespoons of chia seeds mixed with 5 tablespoons of water. You can grind up your chia seeds first if you want to incorporate it more. And what that does is as the chia sits in the water, it expands and gets kind of gelatinous, and it serves the similar function of an egg. So everything else is the same. We're going to add the same dry ingredients. The full recipes will be linked below. And then again, we're just going to put it into our muffin tin. So you can see here that you do see the little specks of the chia in the batter. You can also use flax as an egg replacer too if you'd like. That would give a more brown color maybe. It works the same way where it kind of gets mucilaginous when it's mixed with water, and it makes a good egg replacer. So again, everything else about this recipe is the same. Again, bake at 325 for about 30 minutes until the toothpick comes out clean, and again, you get beautiful golden brown muffins. And my taste testers, aka my sisters, said that they really couldn't taste the difference between the two. So I think that these are both really great recipes. It just depends on what you're going for. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.